Hey, seventh graders, got a real easy day for you today on this Wednesday. So all I would like you to do is just watch the video that I made about the lesson outline, and you can just check your answers and highlight the stuff that I highlighted for you, which is mostly the vocabulary words. The office hours today will be open a lot in the afternoon. These hours are not necessarily correct, they're on this slide, but I'll have open office hours from 11 to 12. And then most of the afternoon, 1 to 3, will be open office hours today. All right, have a great day. Hello, seventh graders. Today we are going to simply correct the lesson outline, or kind of think of it as going over your notes that you've taken from Chapter 2, Lesson 1, Cells in Life. In this lesson, there were basically two focuses. The first one being the history of the scientists that discovered cells, and by learning about cells, what that further allowed them to learn about living things. And then the second is about the basic substances that make up cells in living things. So we start off at the beginning, letter A, understanding cells. Number 1, microscopes enable us to see the basic units of all living things. That's kind of common sense. Hopefully that was something you had in your previous knowledge. Number 2, Robert Hooke saw openings in cork and called them cells. Number 3, Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann realized that plant and animal cells have similar features. I would like you to highlight those three names. Important to remember those three scientists were the ones that were important in developing the cell theory. Number 4, the cell theory has three main parts. All living things are made of one or more cells. The cell is the smallest unit of life, and all new cells come from pre-existing cells. I would also highlight that. That's going to be an important point as we're learning more about cells, is that the cell theory states that all three of those things are true. You may want to just highlight the whole thing. Next, we're moving on to the basic cell substances. Macromolecules form when small molecules join. That's one of the vocabulary words for this lesson, so I would highlight that one. Number 2, the main ingredient of any cell is water. You may already know that living things do have a lot of water in them. Number 3, the structure of a water molecule makes it ideal for dissolving other substances. There's a nice picture in the book that showed you the shape of a water molecule, H2O, and how the positive and negative charges of it make it able to connect to a lot of different molecules. Number 4, the 4 types of macromolecules in cells are nucleic acids, proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates. I would highlight that one. That seems like an important piece of information. Number 5, nucleic acids form when long chains of molecules called nucleotides join. That is going to be sort of the definition of nucleic acids, so I would highlight that one. Number 6, nucleic acids are important in cells because they contain genetic information. You have probably heard of DNA. DNA is an example of a nucleic acid. So let's add that to your outline. There's also another nucleic acid that's called RNA, which we will learn more about later. Number 7, the macromolecules that are necessary for nearly all living cells, or nearly everything cells do, are called proteins. And the definition for proteins is proteins are long chains of amino acid molecules. That's going to be your core definition, and then it gives you a function. They are helpful in breaking down nutrients in food. Number 9, a lipid is a large macromolecule that does not dissolve in water. Lipids are fats. So if you think about oil, butter, any type of oil is considered a lipid, and they don't dissolve in water. You may have learned that previously in a facts class. Macromolecules that do not mix with water play an important role as protective barrier in cells. So the outside of cells, that cell membrane, which we're going to learn more about, is made largely of lipids because it doesn't allow the cell to be dissolved when it's in water. Number 11, one sugar molecule, two sugar molecules, or a long chain of sugar molecules make up carbohydrates. So I'm just going to highlight this last part as sort of the core definition for carbohydrates. And then number 12, carbohydrates store energy and provide structural support. They also are used for communication between cells. So that was the heart of the lesson outline. I told you that the word find was optional. If you were wondering where those words were, if they were just driving you crazy, I forgot to cross some of them off here, but that's where they are in the word find if you want to pause this and take a look at it. And then for our definitions, you were just supposed to use the word bank up here and put those words next to their definition. So a macromolecule is a substance that forms by joining small molecules together. A lipid is a large molecule that doesn't dissolve in water. A protein is a long chain of amino acid molecules. Number 4, one or more sugar molecules is a carbohydrate. Number 5, a macromolecule that forms when long chains of nucleotides join is a nucleic acid. Number 6, an explanation based on scientific knowledge resulting from many observations in an experiment is a theory. And then the last one, the cell theory, is an explanation stating that living things are made of cells, that the cell is the smallest unit of life, and that all cells come from pre-existing cells. So they come from other cells that were already there. If you were done, hopefully you did well on this. Please hold on to it. It's something you're going to be able to use when we have a quiz on this information. But also it's just good background to hold on to if we need to look back at things. And you're going to use it on another assignment later this week. So keep it in a safe spot in Notability. Have a great Wednesday.